Is imagination simply contained in the mind, or does it tap into an unseen world with messages waiting to be told? There is a place where legends cross over into our world, where strange visions and whispers beckon, and superstition takes hold. Step into the Black Cat's shadow.
Welcome back to the Black Cat Shadow. I'm your host, Andy, podcasting from Kansas City, Missouri.
And I'm Dakota, and I'm back after my little reprieve with the baby and everything. Thank you for all your support, guys. It means a lot to me. And today, we're actually bringing you something really cool. I know you guys have all heard of some haunted houses coming out. You know, it's getting to that season. And something else, some really cool extreme haunted houses are out there. And today, we got one of the coolest men you'll ever meet, or ever even hear of. He's actually the owner of McKamey Manor. If you guys have never heard of McKamey Manor, it is an extreme haunted house where not necessarily do they torture you. Is that right, Russ? They don't torture you, right?
That's the rumor. I hear all kinds of rumors, so I'm not sure what the truth is anymore. But no, we don't torture you. You're good.
Yeah, sometimes this truth can get construed a little bit. I mean, I've seen all this stuff all over. Yeah, we see all this stuff all over Facebook, all over the internet, and the media. But I've done my own little research, and I think this is actually one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And I'm going to open up the floor right now, just so you can tell everybody what the McKamey Manor is.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me on, guys. And I have to tell you, I'm actually sitting right now in the middle of a Pizza Hut in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. How about that?
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, that's
I know, right?
Yeah, that's terrifying as it is.
It's scarier than you think. We tell you what. But they got free Wi-Fi and they got air conditioning. And I have my beautiful Holly here, so hey, life is good. But but thanks for having me on. I appreciate that. So for you folks that don't know who McKamey Manor is, the first thing I'd say is why. I'm not doing my job good enough if you all don't know who I am. But so I am the owner and creator of what is billed as, I guess, the most famous extreme haunt in the world, I suppose. I think I kind of started a long time ago. And it's just a natural progression from what I did back in the 80s and 90s. And every year I just kind of made things a little more interactive. And the audience loved all the interactive stuff. So it's just a natural flow that it kind of turned into what it is now. And then, every year I had to keep upping the ante and making things more spectacular. And here we are. And it's a full contact, everything's on the table type of haunt, with the exception of, and this is really important, and most of the fans know, but there's nothing sexual, there's nothing inappropriate, and there's no religion. So it's in content, it's very PG-13 reality. And even, I keep cussing down to a bare minimum, especially with the new shows here in the Bible Belt. It's very different out here, gentlemen. I must tell you, I have to totally have readapted myself, and being an ex-military guy, I'm used to overcoming and adapting and reinventing, and that's what I have done out here in the downtown Bible Belt of USA. It's very, very interesting. The things that have been happening out here for the last few months since I've been here would make most people turn around and run away and go someplace else. But I'm not going to let anyone push me out of here. But it's been pretty crazy, man. And I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit later on. But in a nutshell, we are a survival horror boot camp type experience, live your own horror movie type of scenario where nobody has ever completed it. And if you ever do complete it, I will pay you $1,000. So there's that rumor, that urban legend about getting paid to complete a haunted house. Well, That's McKamey Manor. If you complete 2 zones, just 2 little zones, I mean, how hard can it be, right? Then I will give you 1,000 clams out of my own pocket. So that's how serious I am about this whole thing.
Well, I think Dakota, he thinks he's up for it. I don't know.
Hey, cool. I like people like that. Yeah, I got this. How bad? And I get it, because I'm the same way when I talk to people going in. I'm like, you know, you're not going to die. I mean, that's clear. Clearly, you're not going to die, right? So why quit? I mean, and there's $1,000 on the line, and you don't have to put any money into it to take advantage of that. I mean, so why would you quit? And that's the mystery of the Manor, and that's what you and your listeners have to be thinking. Like, well, what the heck could be going on in there that would make somebody quit and throw away $1,000? I don't get it. Well, the only way to find out is to come on by and say hello to me and Holly, and we'll show you. So that's the scoop.
Yeah. So you have more than one location, right?
Yeah, it takes place in 2 different zones. Takes place, I break them up by zones. The first phase is in Summertown, Tennessee, and that is a zone called, if you've ever gone to my website, it's called Holly's Playhouse. And all this is, I'm telling you, just listen to how simple this is. All you got to do is spend 3 to 4 hours with beautiful Miss Holly. She's going to run you through a lot of mental testing type scenarios. She's going to put you through a lot of physical activities. And all you have to do is mimic what she does. So she'll be doing everything that you're tasked to do. And you just have to be able to compete and complete those 3 to 4 hours of working out with Miss Holly. But it's not normal working out. It's very McKamey Manor-ish type of scenarios, which, you know, I don't want to give that away, but clearly it's not just much of exercise. You're going to be tasked to do a lot of really unique and creative adventures that you have never done any place else, but you're going to do it with this beautiful 5-foot-tall woman. And if you can keep up with her, then you'll go on to zone 2, which is in Huntsville, Alabama, and then you're going to meet me. That's on to the big show. That's when you go to the Manor, and that's where it's going to be a very psychological 3 to 4 hours with me. This is where I promise you, I will get inside your head. I will do things to you that you will, hallucinate. I can promise you that. I can promise you that 99% of the people that sees me, and they always have, you will be hypnotized. And if you've ever watched my films, you can tell which folks I hypnotized and which folks I was not able to hypnotize, because that's something I've been trained to do for a lot of years. So that's one of the trade secrets that a lot of people, I think they know now, but they didn't know for a lot of years, that during the contract signing, and one of the reasons why it takes 4 hours to sign a contract is because while you're doing that, I'm also feeding you the information that I need, and I'm getting inside your head, and I am hypnotizing you. So if you watch the films, you definitely can see which people are hypnotized and which ones are not. So I have an edge for sure. And some people think that's not playing fair, but you just gotta, I'm doing it. It's in the contract. It says you will be hypnotized. So there's nothing off the table. It's right there when you sign up. You know exactly what is going to happen. You know what kind of things you'll be assigned to do. You know how I play the game, and you just got to try to beat me in my own game. And that's where it gets really interesting.
You talk about the psychological effects, but there's also a lot of it's very physical experience, and participants have to bring a doctor's note. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And clearly there's no other haunt in the world that has the type of requirements that we do. And let's just kind of run down the list real fast for your listeners. You got to be 21 or above. But now I've kind of loosened that restriction up now. I say if you're 18 to 20, I'll consider it, but only if your parents give the official okay, like on film and what have you. And I know people are going, 18, it's a parent, I'm an adult. And I know you're an adult at 18, but I take this thing so serious on the safety side of the fence that even though you're 18, 19, 20, I still want to have mom and dad's okay. because I don't want to have those folks coming after us when you're all psychologically jacked up, So,
Sure.
So we try to keep it 21 or above. The other thing is, you talked about, you have to have a letter from your doctor saying you're physically good to go, and more importantly for me is I want a letter stating that you're mentally cleared, because the last thing I want to do is to harm anybody physically or mentally. That is not our goal, is to scar you. Our goal is to entertain you. I am an entertainer, plain and simple. That's what I do. So my job is to make you laugh, scream, cry, all that fun stuff, but it's all to be for fun. So by getting that letter, that really helps me weed out who I think may be a good fit and ones who are not, because again, we don't want to ever damage anybody physically or mentally. So they have to have that, and then they have to go through, of course, a screening process with me, via Skype or what have you. They have to have proof of medical insurance, just in case somebody gets injured. I want to make sure we can take them someplace. They have to go through a criminal background investigation. I mean, again, this sounds crazy, right? There's no other any other attraction in the world that does the kind of safety requirements that we do. So you have to have a criminal background check. You don't want to have any shady characters in here. And then, of course, you got to sign the 40-page waiver, which takes 3 to 4 hours, and you'll go through it line by line. And so you'll know everything that is on the table. So there's no way you ever can come back and say, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. It's like, yeah, you did. And for 4 hours, not only am I getting inside your head with the hypnosis, but I'm also trying to talk you out of it. But that's my last-ditch effort. My last-ditch effort is to spend those 4 hours telling you really don't want to do this. And I do it over and over and over. So it's on camera. It's on the contract. I mean, it's, anybody who sees all the behind-the-scenes footage that I have, and I have all that footage for a reason, and the reason why is to keep me out of hot water, because there are so many elements, so many people trying to cause major damage to me in the Manor, and they have been for years. And a lot of people go, why can't we catch this guy? Well, the reason why they can't catch me is because, first off, we're not doing anything illegal, and secondly, because I have everything on film, every interaction. So if anybody claims that something happened inappropriate, or they were tortured or whatever, and I hate that word, we don't do torture, but if they claim anything at all, then all I got to do is go back and show the authorities the raw footage and go, here you go. And every single time they go, yep, nothing, the old nothing burger here, that didn't take place. And and so that's why I film every single moment I'm with somebody. But back on the requirements, you have to have the that done, and then the interview and the contract, and then on the day of the show, I also do a portable drug screening, because you are not going to step foot in here if you're drunk, if you're intoxicated, if you have any kind of marijuana in your system or anything. It's not going to happen. And people can think I'm the biggest fuddy-duddy in the world, but I'm real strict on that, because I know how tricky this haunt is, and I need each contestant to be on there 100% A game. So if there's anything in your system, you might as well kiss it goodbye, because you're out of here. Right. I want the best of the best coming through. And, and there's other requirements too, but that's kind of the basic gist of it. And again, there's no other attraction in the world. I don't care if you're skydiving, bungee jumping, whatever. They don't make you jump through hoops. And so for people who complain and cry about, oh man, these people don't know what they're getting into and whatever, they know exactly what they're getting into, and they're begging to get into it, and they're jumping through a lot of hoops and paying a lot of money to fly out here and get their, airline tickets and their hotels. I mean, they know what they're getting into. So don't listen to that sad sob story when people start saying that, we're tricking them, fooling them. It's so transparent. I mean, I am transparent to the point of where you would think it wouldn't be scary, because I'm telling you everything ahead of time. But it doesn't matter if you know everything. When you have to go through it, I don't care who you are, you're going to break and cry, and you're going to freak out, and all these things are going to just start failing, on you, with you, in your head and in your body physically. It doesn't matter how much you know. You can look at the thing and say, okay, here's what you're going to do. Now we're going to take a couple minutes, and now you're going to do it. And then, okay, but once you get in there and have to do these different traps I have, it's a whole different game. And that's why nobody in 17 years has ever finished it. That's crazy to me, you know. But that's how we roll.
Yeah, man, I completely love this idea. This epitomizes horror, and that's why we wanted you on. Just because everything that you've told us so far has been like it's made both of us giddy. We're both over here like kind of like chuckling and like jumping up and down and shit. It's one of the. I think it's one of. Yeah, so do I. So you mentioned that you were in the military. Do you mind give us a little background about that?
Yeah, sure. No, I was in the military for 23 years, and I did a lot of different types of activities, everything from, you know, I was a bosun's mate. I was in the Navy for 23 years. So I did a lot of time out to sea. So for all those 23 years, I was actually stationed on board seagoing commands for 17 years, and I loved it, man. I absolutely loved being in the military. I loved all the different responsibilities I had to do. I loved all the collateral duties, everything from firefighting to security to. This is where I learned a lot of my mind control techniques in the military as well. This is where I first picked up the hypnosis thing. So I learned a lot of cool things that I have definitely transferred over to the military, and how to break people and how to, you know, get inside their head. I mean, if it wasn't for my 23 years, I wouldn't be near as successful. There's no way. And so that was good stuff. But you know, I was a haunter way back then. It didn't matter where I was at. When I was out to sea, floating around on these deployments, and deployments are, you know, 6 to 9 months long, I was doing haunts on board the ship. It didn't matter where. If it was October, I would put together a haunt for the guys down in the well deck, down in the offices. It didn't matter. If I was in a single one-bedroom apartment, which I was, you know, for a lot of my life, I was doing haunts in the old, you know, the one-bedroom apartment. It didn't matter, man. I just loved to put shows on and entertain, and I never have charged a penny for this stuff. This is just what I love to do, and I'm the most famous haunted house guy in the world. I'm also the dumbest in the world, because I've spent throughout my years, you know, probably close to $1 million on animatronics, and, you know, you name it, I've spent it, and it's all been going towards the haunt, but I've never have made it into a business. And so people say, you're just stupid, man. You're a rock, Russ, for doing that. And it's kind of like it's true, but it's never been a priority of mine. What's been my priority is simply to put on the craziest, most entertaining show, to where people are going to leave this thing talking about it, going, man, that was just, I'll never forget about that. You know, I want to be that house that when those people are old and gray and they got kids and grandkids, and they come up to them and say, hey, man, Grandpa, I just went to this great haunted house. And then I want to be the one where those older folks say, no, son, let me tell you about a haunt that I went to when I was your age, you know. And that's what it's all about, man. It's purely about entertainment. And I don't know if you guys know a guy named William Castle, but William Castle was like, okay, so you guys know, but some of your audience may not know, but he's like a lower budget Alfred Hitchcock back in the 50s and 60s, and he produced a lot of really cool, great B movies like The House on Haunted Hill and The Tingler, and he even was the executive producer of Rosemary's Baby. That was going to be his big movie to get him into the A-list, but didn't quite work out. But William Castle did a whole lot of really inventive audience participation type of stuff, where he would like have buzzers, you know, rigged to the seats. So in the theater, when the so-called Tingler escaped, the lights would go out and the seats start buzzing, and the people would think that the Tingler is wrapping around their legs. And I mean, he did this stuff in all of his movies, and he's like my idol. And there's a great documentary about him. I think it's called The Spine Tingler, I think. And I encourage your audience to watch it. Just a really good guy, but really creative. And that's why I kind of fashioned myself after is William Castle. And, you know, I kind of look up to him a lot. And so check him out, you guys.
Yeah, and, you know, me and you share something in common. We both were in the military. And I know, how many people have you actually had in the military go through your haunt?
Oh, a lot, man. Back in San Diego, not so much out here in this neck of the woods, because this is just a whole different ball game out here. But in San Diego, being a Navy town, that's all I got. It's all Marines and Navy. A lot of law enforcement came through. They're all like, man, I got this thing. I got a lot of special warfare guys going through. I got guys who did the SEER training, which is, survival training. And in fact, there's a movie, one of my films, it's called The Career Marine, I think, and The Adrenaline Junkie. And you'll see my career Marine. Things didn't work out for him quite as planned. But, so I love getting those kind of folks because they're all very, cocky, just like I am. I mean, come on, man. We're all like, hey, we got this thing. We go, yeah, no problem. So I love that kind of individual. But then when they get here and they go through it, they understand there's a lot more going on than what I've ever let on to the public. And that's the magic of the Manor. And that's why I've never let film crews, for the most part, film. I've had a bunch of television shows offer me reality shows and a weekly series. And again, I could have made a lot of money with this thing, but I've turned them all down because they all wanted to either dumb it down, which I understand, and they wanted to film the behind the scenes of it and make it like a weekly reality show where they see us fighting and carrying on. Then at the last of it, you do the tour, and that would ruin the magic. I would rather have people upset, all spun up about what they think's going on. That's the fun of it for me. That's my biggest enjoyment, is being able to misinform people and see where it leads. So, like my films, everything in my films, I know what I'm shooting. I know how I'm shooting it. I know how I'm editing it. I know how scary it looks. And I know what my movies are going to do. And I know how they're going to upset people. But that's what I'm trying to do. It's like, can I spin people up? Let's see what Russ can figure out now. And I do, and then I sit back and watch it just take off like wildfire. So, the TV shows would have absolutely ruined that 1,000%. And $1 million or more is not worth it to me. I would rather keep the legend alive and have people, when I'm dead and gone, deep in the ground or hung up someplace in somebody's haunted house, take me someplace. Yeah. I want people to go, man, was that really true? That urban legend about all that can't be true. No way. I want people to be talking about McKamey Manor long after I'm buried, and they will, as long as I don't give away secrets. And that's my legacy, and I'm really proud of it because I created something from scratch, and for no monetary gain, just a little mom and pop hunt, just to see if I could do this, just to see if I could fool the world. And but I got to be careful when I say fool the world, because I'm fooling them. It is smoke and mirrors, but at the same time, it's 1,000% real. And at the same time, I obviously can deliver on the product every single time. So there's a lot going into what I'm doing. It's not just something simple. I've put a lot of research and I've worked really hard to get where I am. So it's fun for sure.
Yeah, and definitely the publicity you get from everybody that's going crazy on Facebook, dude. when you posted like your videos on Horror Everything, which is a page that I'm on Facebook. I don't know if Andy's on it, but yeah, some of those videos are intense, and people are always complaining about how that's not really what happens. It's all torture. That must really get you to where, like, oh yeah, I'm big. You kind of get that rock star mentality for a little bit, like, oh yeah, people are coming towards me, let's do this.
Yeah, I do, but out here it's gotten so bad that there are there's an amazingly large amount of what I call LICs. LICs are my low information crowd, and the low information crowd has caused a lot of trouble for me. Yeah, but the thing that amazes me is that it's not just a common folk out here in the South that are getting upset. It's the higher ups. It's high people in law enforcement. It's kind of scary without going into a lot of detail, to where I am really being monitored now. So that part really sucks, because they really believe, and they told me that they want to catch me. And if they do catch me, they're going to lock me away. If there's any complaints, if there's any of this, so they have told they have mixed no bones about it. So I can't say that I don't know their take on it. They have told me to my face that they will put me away in prison. That's how serious they are out here in the Bible Belt, and how they really don't understand that it is a show. It's not reality, but they are looking to take me down one way or another. And that's scary for me. And like Holly, like she's ready to leave, man. She hates this place out here. And because of the death threats that we get, if anybody else got the kind of threats that we get, you'd be like out of here in 2 seconds. I mean, we get bomb threats, we get threats about burning our house down, about Southern justice, about killing us, about having a bullet find us when we least expect it. But you think about it, you think of all the cliches that you've heard about, the South and how they kind of feel about certain things, and that's how it is with us. It's been that extreme, it's been that violent, and I tell people these things and show them. They're like, "Dude, why are you here, man? They're gonna come and get you one day." And it's like, well, they do. So I'm kind of expecting it, but the one thing I'm kind of expecting to disappear one day. And for all you and your listeners, if that ever happens to me or Holly, we just magically kind of go off the grid, you need to really take a look about why that happened. Because I promise you, it wasn't because we just left. And I know that's crazy to say, but things like that happen. And one thing about being a celebrity of some sorts in this crazy world of haunting, it does give me a little bit of protection because now people are really aware of who I am. If any funny business does go on, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult to try to cover up and try to just, pile under the rug. So it is kind of scary in a very real sense because we know the people that are watching this. It's not even in just this state. We know of high authority. We know a lot of the big government agencies who are seriously looking at us and trying to catch us at anything. And that's why it's difficult for me now to release my movies. I have all these backlog of movies to show, but I can't do it because I know they're going to go ballistic about it. And I know they're going to, they go ballistic over my live feeds. When I do a silly live feed, they start picking apart that and saying, oh, he's belittling, he's doing this, we can get him for this. Because we have people that let us know what's being done and what's being said. We have fans in law enforcement that keep us attuned of what's happening, and it's scary. That's the scariest part of the whole thing. And then the thing that really bothers me is that out here in the South, at least where I live, they have some real issues, like issues of major drug problems and a lot of sexual predators out here. And talk about not protecting kids, their version of the Child Protective Service agencies, do some things that I just don't understand. Re-releasing kids into parents that have abused them, and their reasoning is, well, it's better that they're with the parents than not. And it's like insane stuff,
Right.
So if you want to really work on something and go ballistic over something, go ballistic over real stuff that's happening in your own neighborhood. If you want to really protect kids, then you go after the real things that are going on. You don't go after some entertainment, something fake, something that's not even reality. Spend your resources on the people that need to be caught. And that's the most aggravating thing to me about where I live is that they're not looking out for the real bad guys. They're looking for imagination bad guys. It's ridiculous. Sure. So that to me is really, really offensive. And because kids to me are the most important thing in the world, and they're not, if you're not going after those kind of guys and the meth houses and all that junk, if you're not going after that, you're not protecting kids. And I'd shut down in a heartbeat if it meant that all the kids were safe. Sure. But these, folks aren't going after the people they need to go after. Instead they're like petitioning me. They're doing things like just recently, matter of fact, I lost my homeowner's insurance because the town kind of got together and they're finding ways to get me out of here. They want to get me out of here. And so the State Farm canceled my homeowner's insurance because I'm McKamey Manor. And then I called all these other insurance companies around town to try to get them to talk to me. And they wouldn't even talk to me. It's like, no, you're McKamey Manor. Nope, click, 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 click. So wow. It's almost like, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy thing, but trust me, they don't want me here, and they're going to do what they can to run me out of town. And that to me is scary, because now this is 2017. This isn't freaking 1815. But
Right.
but their attitude is really a frightening thing to me. That blows me away.
Well, yeah, and it's a shame. It's just like in the 80s when they had the whole satanic panic thing. The religious crowd they'll find the devil behind every corner, and it's a shame that they look at entertainment like that, and they try to crucify entertainers, and like you said, there's real crime going on. There's real dangers out here. It's really frustrating to hear that. And
I was going to say, and then what frustrates me is that they personally attack me when they have no clue what kind of guy I am,
right.
or my portfolio. I would back up. I would show my portfolio of my life of these 58 years and stack it against theirs any day of the week. I'm not saying I'm Mr. Goody Good, but I'm just saying I don't have any skeletons in my closet. I'm an open book. I've said this before. I've never been drunk in my life. I've never had a cigarette. I've never taken a drug before. I've never had a cup of coffee. I mean, that's how straight-laced I am. But they want to picture me as this big, crazy psychopath when I'm the most conservative kind of guy, well-meaning, child-protecting kind of person you could possibly imagine. And then they throw out this other crap, and that's what really makes me mad. And then when, I hear all this junk on the internet and all the attacks I get, it's like, well, why don't you all come and see me? Here's my phone number, here's my address, because you definitely know where I live, because the county commissioner put a bullseye on my back the very first day I was here, and he put me on this community alert page. That's something you do for really bad people.
Right.
And here he goes, puts me on this community alert page. Here's his address. Go see him. Stop him. Blah, blah. It's like a witch hunt. It's crazy. I mean, who does that? I mean, I think that's kind of illegal, I think. But, that's what it was from day one. And this is from the leadership. This isn't from like,
sure.
This is why I said, this is why I have to be careful. Because that's why I will not be surprised if Russ just disappears one day, because I'm kind of outspoken about this, because it really makes me mad. And I don't want to see this happen to other people like it's happened to me. I mean, most people would have just turned their tail and got out of here. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to fight it. And they can give me a hard time. But, I've always been so upfront about everything. It's like all these people who are talking trash about me, how about calling me? Hey, here's an idea. How about actually coming over to the house and visiting with me? How about seeing what's really all about? But they won't do it. Not a one of them. And, they just sit back on their computers and slander me to pieces, but they won't actually talk to me. They don't know I've been in the military for 23 years. And after that, for 13 years, I worked as a veterans advocate, helping disabled vets. And I'm a wedding singer. I've been doing that for 40 years, and rescue animals. I mean, I'm one of the good guys. And they're trying to paint me as something else. So that makes me mad. And it makes them very cowardly that they're not even willing to, hey, let's go find out what he's really all about, guys. Let's not just read the internet stuff, but it doesn't happen, and that's it. A couple times it's funny when I put that out to the whole town, and I got slammed by, all the bigwigs and stuff. I was trying to make contact with them, trying to have them call me, and nobody would. Until finally these young kids, these teenagers came up and did like a video interview of me on their cell phone, and they, and then that got out, kind of went viral, and they're like, kind of made them all look kind of bad, like, geez, these little kids are big enough to come and talk to you, but the other folks aren't going to do that. They're not willing to do what you're all about. Wow. So things changed a little bit then, and then I was able to talk to some of the authorities. But, it's just nuts, man. It blows my mind away. And it's scary. I'm not going to lie to you. It's scarier than anything I've ever done in my haunted house, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, me and Dakota, we're here in the Bible Belt, a little ways away from you, but hopefully, through our listeners hearing this, they can, find out who you are as a person and see that you're not some crazy maniac.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm an entertainer. It's plain and simple. I'm a good guy. I'll make you laugh, and that's it.
So, is there like a group of people that goes through this experience, or you just do like one person at a time?
We can do groups. I've done larger groups. I like doing the solo tours, but I also like doing two. Like, so you and your buddy right there would be perfect. So that'd be ideal that way you guys could be tossing each other under the bus, seeing who's really going to be supportive of the other person, seeing who's really going to have the other guy's back. I guarantee you that you may go into like, yeah, I got you, man. I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Yeah, whatever. Once you get in here, it's every man for himself. And, and that's really on a psychological level. It's fun for me to watch people turn on one another. And I broke up marriages over this thing before in San Diego, man. I broke up, because, the husband's like, oh, honey, I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it, and then they get here. He's like, I'm out of here. It's all you, baby. And then I love to be on a fly in the wall and there's a car rides home. So, it's the 2 is a lot of fun. And I don't have to go much more than that. I've had 17 at a time go through, but it gets hard to handle because it really is a personalized experience. And the more personalized I can make it, the better it's going to be. So that's why it takes a long time for a person to get in. I have to do a lot of investigating on that person. You just don't walk up. I'm going to know everything about you. I'm going to talk to your family, your friends. I'm going to get the dirt on you and find out some very personal information on you. I will find out the skeletons in your closet. I will use that stuff against you. If you ever get to me in Alabama, I will get beside your head. That's why I said, if there's something going on and you don't want me to know about it, I probably will find out about it. And I feel, oh crap, I'm going there then. And then deal that with the hypnosis. If I am able to hypnotize you, trust me, I can get a lot of information out of you by doing that. So this is no flipping game. This is like, it's a game, but it's real. When you're going through it, it's real. It's safe. Yeah, you're not going to die again, but it's no joke, man. It's smoke and mirrors, but it's not at the same time. So, but yeah, I think you two both ought to come through. I think right now on the podcast, you need to both say, yeah, Russ, I got this thing, man. I'm going to conquer it. I'm going to kick its butt, man. You got nothing on me. That's what I want to hear.
Well, I think Dakota. I think Dakota will say that, but I think I'll sit this one out.
Come on, Dakota. You gonna do this thing, man?
Oh, definitely. I've got balls of steel, man. I think it's more or less for me. I've been through a lot of shit in my life, and one thing that's I've always liked to say is like I'm a very psychological person. I like to really analyze things psychologically. Right. And, yeah, you mentioned Rosemary the Baby. That's one of my favorite movies because it's such a psychological thrill ride. Right. I'm sorry. So hell yeah, I would love to do it. And what's great about what's great about what you do is the fact I know you donate the dog food, like you're talking about the admission for dog food, whatever it is, like 4 cans of dog food. What charity do you donate that to?
Well, we're actually, in fact, I'm glad you guys are talking right now because I need a current charity. I've actually put the word out, but nobody wanted to get involved with us because when McKamey Manor, don't talk to him. So, I couldn't get a rescue site to pick us up. So if any of your listeners out there have a rescue site that you want us to get involved with, the only thing is you guys have to come or somebody have to come and actually pick up the food and all that kind of thing. I can't be driving all that too much, but nobody around here in this little town wanted to deal with me, even though I'm trying to donate, man. So
wow.
It's crazy.
That's a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely, there's a lot of places around here. Right now we have the Great Plains ASPCA. They're a really good organization. They actually do a lot of stuff like locally around our area, all over Missouri, all over Kansas. So that's one good option for you, I would think.
Sweet. Well, if anyone out there is listening who wants to get involved, either with that or with some kind of a child protective charity that we can do, so we can bump the ante up, man. I'd like to put together some kind of a charitable thing that we can do to help kids of abuse. So if there's anybody out there who wants to help me with a project like that, then we can take in, a small amount of money and have that all go and donated towards, abuse victims. I would really like to do that. So if there's somebody out there who wants to help me with that project, please contact me. You can reach me at musicalexcitementwithruss@yahoo.com. you can go on to the website, which is McKameyManor.com, and there's a contact form to fill out. You can go to my wedding site, which is djparty.org, or I'm going to give all your listeners my phone number, because like I said, I'm an open book. So if you have any questions or concerns, or you don't like me, or you want to find out more about the Manor or whatever, it's area code 858-335-9670. I am not hiding or running from anybody. So again, anyone can call me. Just make it during, day hours, please. And if you have any questions,
Sure.
or you just want to talk to me, feel free to give me a holler.
Yeah, and everything you've been telling us so far has just reinforced who you are, reinforced your character. There's nothing wrong with you, Russ. And you have our support. You always have our support.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I've just got a few more questions for you, and then I think
Sure,
we'll just
of course.
I think we'll wrap it up after that. My main question is, one of the things that we talk about on our podcast is like how horror is kind of like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder. Is that something that you would agree with?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm very cinematic in my approach to what I try to do, both visually in the films, music-wise, pacing, all that fun stuff. And I'm a huge movie fan, and I like, the classics. I'm not a big horror fan so much. I'm not like a big Saw kind of guy, except I look at that stuff as cool traps. And, how can I take that and work it in my angle? But I'm not, I don't like those. I despise those films, the Siberian films, whatever, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Am I saying, I despise that kind of stuff where abuse is going on and children are being hurt, and that stuff totally not my cup of tea at all. So I like movies from the 40s and 50s. I love film noir. I love black and white. I love camera angles and shadow details. I love all that stuff. And then, I'm a big Alfred Hitchcock fan. Sam Peckinpah is one of my favorite directors. You guys don't know who he is, but my favorite movie of all time is a movie called The Wild Bunch. It's a Western, and from 1969. And I'm very cinematic in my vision of how I try to give you your tour. So when you go through the tour, it's going to feel like you're going through a movie. And that's what I want to give you. I want to give you your own personal movie. So absolutely, it's in the eye of the beholder. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of all that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that just makes everything so much better for us. So we just love hearing that statement agreed with us. My last question for you is, Russ, do you really think now that you're in the Black Cat shadow?
Absolutely. I never thought I would be there, but I am there. And and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me and let the truth be known. The truth will set you free, as they say. And hopefully some of your listeners will have a better idea of what good old Russ and the McKamey Manor is all about. So Black Cat Shadow.
Yeah.
Big
and
boy.
Yeah,
that's exactly that. Oh, sorry, Andy. That's exactly why we wanted you on. We wanted to get the real truth out there. We wanted the air cleared, because I guarantee you, a lot of our fans are the same kind of fans that love you. Man, you're really awesome, and we really do appreciate you having you on.
Yeah.
Oh man, anytime you guys need anything whatsoever, you let me know. And if you need to do another one of these little podcasts, man, if you want to come down and visit the show, take a tour, I am here for you guys anytime.
All right.
Just let me know, for sure.
All right, thanks, Russ. And thank you guys for tuning into this latest episode. We really appreciate the support. And speaking of that, we recently had a giveaway where we said that once we reached 25 iTunes reviews, we would do a drawing for a new Blu-ray. Well, we decided to change it up and say, hey, if we can get 10 iTunes reviews, we're happy with that, and then we'll do a drawing. So we got 10 iTunes reviews, and we want to thank everybody that left us a review. It really helps us out. And we did a drawing, and our friend Brian over at the Terrible Terror Podcast actually won the Blu-ray. So congratulations, Brian, on that. And in the future we will continue to do giveaways just to say thanks to you guys for supporting us. So stay tuned for news on the next one. And you can always find us out there on social media. On Twitter, you can find us at Black Cat Podcast. And if you want to keep up with what Dave is doing, you can find him at Fan of Dark Dave. If you'd like to send us an email with feedback or just whatever, just let us know you're out there. That'd be great. Or if you had any experience at the McKamey Manor, we'd love to hear about that too. You can definitely send us an email. It's at blackcatpodcast@gmail.com. And also Dakota has his own email address too if you'd like to send him an email. And that is dakshadowbane@gmail.com. So you can go to our website and find all of our episodes there in one place, as long as with the links to all the other places where you can get the show, download the show, and also the link to our eBay movie store. And so that's just one of the ways you can help out the show, is by buying a movie from us. And try to keep it stocked with some really cool stuff for you guys. And here in the Black Cat Shadow, we are really excited for October. So stay tuned for the month of October. We're going to be doing weekly episodes throughout October. After that, we may change it up. We'll see. But in October, we've got some great interviews coming your way. So stay tuned for those guys. So remember to take a closer look at the world around you, and you may just find that it is stranger and more mysterious than you thought, especially in the Black Cat Shadow.